Hi there. Today, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the participant dashboard at Mentor Collective. I'm going to be using a demonstration program in the whole video today, but you could imagine that all of this is happening within your specific Mentor Collective program. Let's get started. So first things first, we're imagining that this is what things will look like when a mentor signs up to join a program. So let's imagine that our mentor has clicked a program registration link. This is the page they will land on. They'll see a page like this that's encouraging them to sign up to be a mentor. So let's imagine that we're going to sign up and our name is Joshua. Joshua can check the privacy policy. Terms of use. And of course, after reading through all this, click I have read and agree, and then they can sign up. At this point, Joshua is officially registered for the program, which is great. There are a couple of next steps that Joshua can take to make sure that their onboarding is complete. The first next step is they can fill out their phone number. This is the phone number that we'll use when we're sending reminders for things like logging conversations with their counterparts. Joshua can always fill out phone number information later as well. So let's skip this for now. The next step is encouraging Joshua to fill out the matching survey. The matching survey is incredibly important as it provides us with information to learn more about who Joshua is and what kind of mentee they could best be matched with. Let's jump into the matching survey. But before we do so, just keep in mind that this matching survey was created for this demonstration program, and your matching surveys can be configured to whatever will fit your program needs best. So this is what the matching survey is going to look like for Joshua. We're going to ask what the academic subjects are that they're most interested in. We'll say science and the arts. Career fields that they're interested in, we'll say computers and technology and art. Any life experiences that they have that we should know about. We'll say they were a commuter student. Neither of their parents attended a 2 or 4 year college degree, and they transferred campuses or universities. A little bit more information about Joshua is they are a single parent and they switched majors. Joshua is comfortable holding conversations in English, and their primary major or academic focus was business. They enjoy coding, going to the gym, and hiking. Different mentors are okay with different levels of communication, and Joshua personally would like to be reaching out to their mentee and having conversations about once per week. Joshua thinks that they can probably handle about 3 mentees. This question is important because it's asking if Joshua would be interested in reaching out to mentees who are perhaps only interested in text messages occasionally to offer them some support. This is something that Joshua thinks that they could handle. They're going to say yes. Do you prefer to work with a mentee who identifies as male, female, non-binary, no preference or other? Let's say Joshua doesn't have a preference here. Joshua is 38 years old, identifies as male, and white non-Hispanic. Joshua's not super big on social media, so we won't be sharing any of this information, but if they were, they could share this information here. Biggest challenge in school. I had a hard time making friends at first, but joining clubs was a big help. Is there anything else we should know when searching for your mentee? Why are you volunteering as a mentor? I had a great mentor when I was in school, and I would like to do that for others. Joshua can review this code of conduct and sign to agree. Then submit. And just like that, the matching survey for Joshua is complete. The next step in the onboarding process for our mentors is for them to complete the training that's required in this program. In this example, I'm going to skip through the training right now just so you can see what would happen if a mentor did that in your program. So this is what happens. Joshua has been redirected to their participant dashboard, which is really, really great. They can now see all of the information that they need to complete for their program, including this nice big call to action at the top of the page, reminding them to complete that training since they haven't done it yet. So that'll be a great reminder for Joshua. Joshua can also see all the other tasks that are in this program, so taking some optional courses and watching some videos. There's also other pages for Joshua to explore. For example, Joshua can click on this mentorships page to see that they're not matched yet, so there's no information here for them, but there will be later. They can click on the resources page here where they can see all of the resources that are tied to this program. They can filter on these resources to see resources tied to specific topics. For example, maybe they want to learn a little bit more about how to offer academic support. These resources would be great for that. This flags page will come in handy once they're matched with their counterparts. They can check out a community page here where they can join a Facebook group to connect with other mentees and mentors across the Mentor Collective and learn a little bit more about the mentees and mentors who are in this program currently. It looks like there are some other people who are first in their family to attend college, for example. They can also check out this FAQ page where they can learn a little bit more about mentor responsibilities and some other frequently asked questions. So this is exactly what Joshua would see if he hadn't been matched yet and needed to take the training. Let's take a look at what the dashboard looks like for somebody who has been matched with mentees in the program. This is Sherry. Sherry has already been matched with 2 mentees, which is fantastic. Sherry hasn't logged any conversations with either Brandon or Maddie yet, so they're seeing these mentorship tips on the side of their checklist over here, which is giving them some helpful information about how to maybe think about setting up their first message, how to set boundaries, all the great kind of information you might want to think about as you're starting some new relationships. They can also click in here to see other tips for starting their mentorship off on the right foot. Since Sherry is matched, they can click in on either of their mentees to learn a little bit more about them. Let's click in on Brandon, for example. So this is our mentorship details page where Sherry can learn more about Brandon, contact information, how often Brandon would like to be in touch. And a great thing here is that they can see the goals that Brandon has identified that are really, really important to them. So for example, Brandon says that they want to develop a healthy balance between school and other commitments. And we're highlighting here some of the resources that we have in this program that Sherry could use to support Brandon as they're working towards this goal. For example, checking out academic expectations in college. They click in on this resource, they can learn a little bit more about this area and how to discuss it with their counterpart. Let's check out Brandon's page again to learn a little bit more. We can get some demographic information about Brandon. And then also see any flags or conversations that Sherry has reported after having discussions with Brandon. Now remember, we said that Sherry and Brandon haven't had any conversations yet. So let's think about what it could look like for Sherry to log a conversation with Brandon. Let's say they've jumped into the first conversation and started talking about some of this healthy balance information. Sherry can do this by clicking log a conversation. This is another example of a survey that might look a little bit different in your program, but it's great for demonstration purposes. So right here, Sherry is looking at a conversation log survey to log a conversation with Brandon. Sherry will see questions like this. Which of the following have you been using to communicate with your mentee since your last session? So let's say they've been connecting via video chat. What kind of things have they been talking about? Well, really at this point, they're just getting to know each other, but they're also discussing things like staying balanced, which is something that's really important to Brandon. This item right here is really important because this is what leads to flags being reported. If Sherry responds to any of the items in here other than none, it will send a flag to people in your program to make sure that you know that Brandon is struggling. It will also add the flag to your partner dashboard page. So let's say that Brandon is having troubles academically. We'll then ask some follow-up information to learn a little bit more. So it looks like Sherry's saying that Brandon's feeling like he's got a heavy course load. He's working part-time and isn't quite sure he's going to be able to make it to all of these classes. But Sherry's not sure if it's too late to drop courses or not. Also, maybe that's not the best course of action for Brandon. Not quite sure what to do here. So for the next question, when we say, could your mentee benefit from immediate support? This is what determines whether or not the flag will be an immediate support flag or non-immediate support flag. Because Sherry is feeling like Brandon needs some help and she's not quite sure how to offer it, she's going to say, yes, this will be something that needs immediate support. Just so you know, because this is our demo program, this says send it to a Mentor Collective representative. This is the name of the institution. If this was on your program, it would have the name of your institution right here. My mentee seems to be successfully adjusting to or preparing for his school environment. We're going to say 4 on this scale. I am enjoying my experience as a mentor. So far, Sherry's loving this experience, so she's going to say 7. What is one goal you have helped your mentee set? Perhaps they're making a goal on how to get more involved on campus, and this is something they're working towards. Submit. Great, so now this first conversation has been submitted in this mentorship, and it also included a flag. This information will show up on the partner dashboard when you're looking at Brandon and Sherry's mentorship. It will also show up in the communications tab when Sherry's looking at her dashboard and looking at this page for Brandon. Let's reload this page and look at the communications tab. So now we're seeing this information and Sherry can remind herself all the discussions that she's had with Brandon. This is really, really helpful for Sherry to remind herself of all of the historic information that's come in their discussions before she has her next conversation with Brandon. She can also see any flags that have been reported here and the status of these flags. So because this flag was just reported, it's still pending any action. Once someone at the institution acts on this and moves the status to, let's say, resolved, Sherry will see this resolved status here. Sherry can also see a summary of all the flags that have been reported in any of her mentorships right here. They'll be portioned out by those that are pending, actionable, non-actionable, and resolved. This is an optional page that you can turn on or off for the mentors in your program, but it's something that's really helpful for our mentors as it helps them feel like they're able to see and close a loop on the flags that they're submitting for their mentors, for their mentees. Great. So that's a great example of the participant dashboard for both participants who are registering, who have just signed up, and have been matched. I hope this has been helpful information for you.